You know what's really funny about this current energy is things really started to shift when Saturn joined Neptune and Aries, and for about 5 seconds we really got a glimpse of like this fresh new energy, and then a week later Pisces season begins, and then another week later we have a Mercury retrograde in Pisces that begins, and then Mars moved into Pisces. So it's like it's kind of like this cosmic joke from Pisces of like, oh, you thought you were done with me? Like, here's a last little taste of my energy, so you really appreciate what I bring to the table. Is the major energy because there's so much that's moving into Aries, but it's not there yet. And it's like slowly making its way. It's slowly happening, slowly but surely. And it's just kind of like a joke to me at this point because I've been feeling things moving forward, wanting things to move forward. We've all had this kind of impatience with it. And it's a joke at this point because I mean, how else are you going to see it? So yeah, that's really what's going on. This week things do start to move forward because we begin Aries season. Mercury goes direct, thank the Lord. On the 20th, I don't remember exactly off the top of my head what day that is. I think maybe Friday. Is that right? I think so. And then we have the spring equinox as well. So this is really the week. By the end of this week, like things are really things are really shifting massively. And we start the week off with that kind of energy as well emotionally, because the moon will be challenging Uranus at the start of the week. So there's still these things that are wrapping up in major ways, these old cycles that are closing out, especially energetically. Like a lot of us, and this is what has been kind of mirrored to me through my friends and social media posts, is that we're all in this still limbo, liminal space, and things are moving forward and moving forward rapidly, it seems like, but there's still this energetic slowdown in a lot of ways. Feeling a little bit more tired, having weird dreams, sleeping off, stuff like that kind of occurring as well as things are still moving forward in other ways. So it's kind of like this big push and pull, this big conundrum that we're all in right now of like, I can feel things shifting, but also I'm really tired and things aren't here yet and I want them to be here right now and blah, blah, blah. Like, and we're really just being asked to remember our faith and trust in our process and the divine orchestration of everything that's happening because it's all happening in the way that it's meant to. So, big themes of this week ahead. And just right now, and as we get into the week ahead, it feels like by the end of March, there is a lot of forward momentum, and a lot of quick forward action, which I think I've been saying in previous weekly updates as well. And April is just like go time, it's a rocket launch. And it just kind of continues. It feels like it doesn't really slow down much after April. Um, so yeah, if you are in my membership and you watched my 2026 overview, we go into month by month of the transits and what to look forward to, out for, my predictions and opinions, and also how to apply it to your chart. Then you already know the energy of all that is coming throughout the rest of 2026. But it's really, we're going to be very grateful that we rested or that we were sick for this time so that we could rest and give our body what it needs right now to slow down and recharge because of how fast and just kind of unexpectedly things are going to shift all of a sudden, and how fast everything is going to be and how busy we're all going to be moving forward through the rest of the year. And the spring equinox is really what I consider the new year as well because it's the solar new year. Especially those of you that have Aries placements or are Aries risings, like this is a big deal and a big time of renewal. But we're all going to be feeling it. It really is like what I consider the new year. We get a little sneak peek of it at the Lunar New Year. But we also had an eclipse on Lunar New Year this year, so it's kind of intense. Kind of like, oh my God, I'm showing all these things, but I don't have the energy or the know-how in order to put them all into place right now. And again, it's all happening for a reason, and we're going to see that as we get into the rest of the month and the rest of the year and into April, especially, of like why it all had to happen the way that it did and how it is actually benefiting us in moving forward. I know I am no stranger to this. It's happening in almost every facet of my life at the moment. With moving, I'm like, I wanted to move so much sooner, but it's all perfect and all divine for when it actually lined up. Same with like I'm working on a book right now, and that is same deal. It's across the board happening with everything in our lives. It's like, okay, this is why I couldn't have done that sooner or stepped into that sooner because it's just all the puzzle pieces haven't been put together yet. All the stepping stones aren't in place just yet. So that's really the energy. And it's so important that we just follow our joy moment to moment and live really presently. I had a phone call earlier with someone who was in my life a lot more frequently, like many years ago. And it's just interesting how some people kind of snapshot you in time, like and kind of treat you as like you're still this person that you were when they knew you, you know? And it was very fascinating of like, oh, so what's your dreams? What are you building right now? And I'm like, I'm really happy. Like I'm really just loving my life and living presently. Like I've really gotten to a really good place with where I live and my connections here and what I'm doing with my career and everything is in a really good spot. And I know it's just a matter of time before more things click into place that I know are coming and that are my like goals. But for right now, I'm just living for the moment. Like I'm really enjoying my walks in the park that I take every day and like just basking in the sunshine and seeing the butterflies come out and seeing the flowers bloom and seeing the trees bud. And I'm just really in love with life every single day. And there's ebbs and flows to that because, we're human. Sometimes it's not always like that, but I try to find those moments as much as I can every single day. And that's really what it's all about is finding your joy and finding your happiness when you can, how you can, as much as you can. So, that's important to keep in mind as we move forward through this week and the rest of March and the rest of the year. Is especially what going to be a big theme of Jupiter and Leo is your joy is going to be expanded if you've been focused on it. And if you haven't, then it's going to become more apparent. You need to focus on what brings you joy and what fuels your creative, passionate, joyful, fun-loving side and nature. So, yeah, is there anything else I want to say? I'm really excited for Mercury to go direct. It's been such a doozy. Uh, almost like it just, yeah, it's been tough for me. Communication's been a little challenging, a little hard. It's kind of like, what am I doing? What am I saying? It's like I forget things. Almost just like we're in an etheric realm and it's hard to stay. It's been challenging, I'll say, to stay grounded. So nature has been helping me. Uh And yeah, is there anything else I want to? Oh, now that Jupiter's direct, thank God, the ruler of this Mercury retrograde, I think a lot of us are feeling that shift as well. That happened last week. And I think, again, moving forward, there's this big focus on, okay, what about your self-care practices or what can you do in your day to day to support yourself in your expansion and feeling more expanded by things that you do every day to care for, nurture, and support yourself in the ways that you need. So that's a big theme as well of Jupiter going direct and supporting the Mercury retrograde energy and everything that's in Pisces. Um, so yeah, really excited about that and just it's literally all coming together week by week. We're getting there brick by brick. We're building the new house. We're building the new life. It really is all coming together and it's just it's cool to see astrology mirroring that. I love astrology so much. So been nerding out about that in my membership lately. So, is there anything else I want to add? Feel complete with that. Let's get into the horoscopes. All right, Aries Rising. It really feels like at the start of this week, there's this kind of fog energy still happening for you, but it is lifting. There could be this sudden shift with long-term goals, friendships, money as well, maybe tied into that. There could be something about what's going on emotionally with community or friendships or social media that maybe challenges you to evolve something about money you've been working towards for quite some time, maybe the last 7 years even. And as we get further into the week, there's more of this renewal of the self happening day by day. But Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts into your subconscious, your inner world. So it could further support this feeling of like mental fogginess or really hermiting, focused on mental health, going within to really just see what kind of needs to be energetically cleaned up within yourself, within your subconscious, in order to move forward into this new chapter and beginning that we are slowly stepping towards. We have a new moon in your area of mental health and subconscious on Wednesday. So there could be this overall theme of, okay, what intentions do I want to set here to just better support my mental health moving forward, to better take care of my energetic health, my spiritual health, moving forward so that it doesn't get kind of put on the back burner again. And Thursday, from that, there's this sense of emotional renewal. There's this sense of really feeling like, okay, a fog lifting in a major way. Although there still may be some themes that are wrapping up with mental health and subconscious, maybe belief systems even, and like where you want to go with what is coming to light and what is being kind of brought to you, with this newfound clarity. There could also be something about that kind of clicks into place with how you're changing something or expanding something with home or with family or childhood stuff that has kind of maybe been coming up for you to look at and to again kind of energetically clear out of the way. Big sense, especially as we head into Friday, of even more renewal of the self. We begin Aries season on Friday and Mercury goes direct. So there's this big sense of aha moments of clarity, of this renewal of your ability to focus on yourself and move forward with this new chapter in a very big way. There could be also on Friday something emotionally triggering that comes up around that. Maybe this sense of emotional wounds come up in a way that maybe you weren't clear on before. Again, it's like the energy of epiphanies, the energy of breakthroughs, and really feeling this renewed sense of self, even if there is maybe still some residual like hangover energy or foggy energy as we head into the weekend. But it does feel like there's a sense of breakthroughs, there's a sense of clarity and renewal. And on Saturday, there could be something about that comes through with money, that comes through with long-term goals and visions, how you're stepping into those in a new or different way, maybe related to social media or community or friendships as well. And it kind of forces you to step into some new pattern with it and to evolve it in maybe a way that you've been kind of sitting with but didn't know how to act on before. The energy is there to really like act on it, put it into motion, and move forward with what you've gotten clarity around, in order to integrate it in your life and further embody it in who you're becoming, the version of you that you're stepping into. So that is your week ahead, Aries. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments. I love, love, love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you next week. Hi, Taurus Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your career. There could be some breakthrough that comes about with career or with public image, your reputation, what you're building there that's different than what you have been doing, or wanting to be known for something in a different way, or stepping into this new version of yourself related to that. It feels like there's some big maybe challenge or conflict that happens between you and your career, what's going on there. But it also forces you to evolve something and change something in a way that maybe you've been feeling but didn't have, the momentum around or whatever it is. Like there's this kind of sudden sense of, okay, I have to do this. I have to move forward on Monday. As we get into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts into your area of community, of long-term goals, visions, social media, and friendships. So there's a lot of emotional focus on that area of your life, as there has been with this Mercury retrograde in the past few weeks. But it's kind of like, there's a sense of emotional clarity that comes maybe through some alone time or just some processing of emotional stuff, or a spiritual practice. It's kind of like this aha moment comes, or maybe it's just a feeling. This is the moon, this is emotional focus. So it could just be this feeling, a sense of what needs to change or what you want to move forward with and do and implement. And as we have the new moon in Pisces on Wednesday, there is this focus on setting intentions in this area of your life, with friendships, social media, long-term goals, visions. There's a big energy and opportunity to really set intentions with what you want to do about that area moving forward and maybe implement in these new practices or healing modalities or something or some sense of creativity that you're moving forward with. It's something you've been reflecting on for years, probably. And there is really this big sense of, okay, this is what I'm doing, or this is the what I'm moving forward with about it. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your subconscious, your mental health, your spiritual connection, relationship with spirituality. So there's a big focus on that and maybe what's changing about that and getting more emotional clarity again about how to implement these certain practices or things within your mental health routine or spiritual routine, whatever it is, in order to kind of embark on this new journey and step into this new phase of your life and new season with the energetics underneath the surface of everything kind of cleaned up in ways that maybe have been needing it. As we step into Friday, we begin Aries season. Mercury goes direct in your area of community and friendships, as well as long-term goals and visions. There could be some emotional healing that clicks into place around all of that, and maybe a sudden sense of clarity where there wasn't before. There's this big illumination of maybe something that wasn't clear, almost kind of like a fog lifts. But that might be more of a feelings Friday into Saturday, or maybe as we end out the week of kind of feeling this big emotional clarity, especially on Saturday, because you're going to have the emotional focus on you. And this is the energy of a big emotional renewal. And it could directly challenge or conflict something that you're changing in your career. Again, kind of bringing that to the surface again in a new way of like, how do you need to be embodied in order to make this change? Or what about you needs further alignment, needs further embodiment in order to move into this new thing and have this change with career that you want, related to what's also changing about your sense of self and your identity and rippling out into every other area of your life. So there's a lot of not only mental clarity as we end out the week, but also emotional clarity that comes about. And kind of you have this renewed sense of how to move forward. And there could also be something you're sharing or communicating with community or friends related to that breakthrough. So that is how we end out your week, Taurus. Let me know how this resonates with you in the comments. I love, love, love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Gemini Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your perspective of life. There's something really massively changing about kind of your inner world, and affecting, the way that you view life and the world around you. And there's some breakthrough around that on Monday, although it could come through emotional conflict or challenges, maybe between some spiritual belief or some subconscious belief that comes to light in order for you to really shift and change and to kind of view life differently and think about life differently. As we head into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts into your career. There could be something emotionally you feel called to take action on as it relates to that. There could be this sense, though, of like not feeling mentally clear of what's going on with career and the direction you're headed. But as we get closer to this new moon, in Pisces in your area of career on Wednesday that we have, it's like the clarity is coming the more you spend time with yourself and maybe in meditation or within a spiritual practice. It's like you might not mentally know what's going on or have a way to communicate it or talk about it, but internally you feel it. It's a very internal, energetic thing that's building for you this week. And it kind of all culminates on Wednesday of, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm moving forward. These are the new beginning, the new intentions I need to set around this, to really bring it into fruition, whatever's going on with your career and public image. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your community, long-term goals, vision, social media, friendships. So there could be some emotional clarity that comes about as it relates to any of those things and the new chapter you're heading with that area of your life. There is a sense of emotional clarity. There is a sense of like, okay, this is what I'm doing and here's how I'm going about it. Especially later on Friday, as we begin Aries season, Mercury goes direct. Like there's this sense of kind of an aha moment of like, this is how I'm moving forward. It maybe comes later on Friday and into Saturday. But like there is this sense of clarity and breakthroughs, and there could even be some sort of emotional healing through a connection, a friendship, something on social media as well that kind of clicks in this big identity shift that's happening for you around all of those things and supporting you in where you're headed with career and what's changing about that area of your life. Then, as we get into Saturday, there is the energy of breakthroughs within your mental health, within your subconscious, within spiritual practices that you have put in place to take care of your mental health and clear up energetic stuff. Um, but it feels like that it could again challenge what's going on with your belief systems, what's going on with your perspective of life and how you're viewing the world around you. So it could really propel you emotionally to clear something further deep in your subconscious in order to view what you're doing differently and kind of approach it with a different perspective. Than you have been before. But it does feel like there's harmony with career and money as well as we end out the week. So there could be something that comes about related to that. And as we, get into Sunday, really have a big shift emotionally in your subconscious. Again, maybe more breakthroughs or things that are supporting you and heading in this new direction with everything that you're doing. So that is your week ahead, Gemini. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments. I love, love, love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Cancer Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your shared resources, also on like psychological transformation. There might be some really big rebirth you've been in, and getting more clarity on viewing life differently through that. Maybe this really big energetic cleanup within your inner world of like healing past life stuff or healing stuff from earlier in this life that feels like a past life. From your childhood, stuff like that. It's like this big energetic cleanup is happening for you, and something on Monday really kind of triggers that further to be shifted, especially as it relates to like how that plays into your long-term goals and visions, community, friendships, maybe even social media. All of those things of your life are going through a big change, and there's some emotional catapults that adds to that on Monday that you maybe have a really big breakthrough or clarity around. As we head into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your perspective of life. So there's this big energy of needing to really emotionally take charge of how you're like your mindset, how you're viewing the world around you, your belief systems. It's been a big focus and reevaluation these last few weeks, and there's something clicking into place around it, especially on Wednesday as we have a new moon in this area of your life in Pisces. So there is this big opportunity and focus on setting intentions to have some new beginning with the way that you view life, maybe even your spiritual practices or creative stuff that kind of helps you to step into a new perspective and really like see life differently maybe than you have been before previously. Again, related to your own like conditioning that you're sorting through and clearing out, not only practically in how you maybe communicate or talk to yourself or talk to others, but also energetically. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your career. There's maybe this sense of kind of renewal there emotionally and emotional clarity, maybe about what you're doing in career, moving forward with. There could also be this sense of yeah, just like energetic renewal, emotional renewal, especially on Friday as we begin Aries season and we have Mercury going direct. There's this big sense of like an aha moment, this big sense of clarity. There could be something even emotionally that really is healing for you around that, around your career and what you're stepping into, what new direction you're headed with everything, and feeling more embodied in it. And no longer feeling the same kind of wounds around it that you had before. And there's kind of this emotional integration of that occurs on Friday. Saturday, the emotional focus moves into your area of community, long-term goals, visions, and challenges what's going on with your psychological transformation. Also, other people's resources and money. So there could be something that comes up around that. Maybe that's a little bit challenging or conflicting emotionally, and maybe has you kind of reevaluating your goals as it relates to money or taxes, debt, inheritances, investments, all that kind of stuff, and what you really want to move forward with there and change in a major way that's more in alignment with where you're headed than kind of repeating where you have been. And then we end out the week on Sunday with a kind of big emotional breakthrough, maybe related to long-term goals, visions, community, friendships, social media, and kind of this emotional wrapping up of a really big chapter as it relates to that area of your life and what has been massively changing there and going through a big innovation over the last 7 years. It also feels like there's a big clicking in of this renewal of the self and tied to your perspective shift that's been occurring and building these past few weeks. It really feels like things just solidify and click in at the end of the week. So that's your week ahead, Cancer. Let me know how that resonates with you. I love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Leo Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your relationships. There could be something about where you're pulled emotionally with a connection or with someone in your life that kind of directly challenges or conflicts what's going on with career and what you're wanting to change about career and move forward with there. That's more aligned with where you have been heading and where you've been wanting to go. There could be something as well about a connection that kind of triggers you to see something more clearly with career in order to move forward. Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your psychological transformation, your area of shared resources as well, debt, taxes, other people's money, investments. So there could be this sense of emotional drive to act on something about that. There could also be this sense of emotional cleanup happening within your inner world. I mean, there's been a huge focus these last few weeks, really the last 6 months or so, Leo, on like doing energetic cleanup within your subconscious, your inner world, and going through this kind of deep transformation. And it's been brought to light and ahead really the last few weeks. And this is kind of the wrapping up of it. This is the final like hurrah of emotionally kind of feeling and clearing things that need to be felt and cleared to move forward. Especially on Wednesday, as we have a new moon in Pisces in this area of your life. So there could be this sense of, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is how I'm moving forward. This is what I want to really set into place to make happen over the next 6 months as I integrate and kind of like start to take more action on these changes and in a really big way that feels more embodied. Then, as we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your perspective of life. Also, been going through a really big renewal. um, and there's been this need to really commit yourself and discipline yourself to some sort of new belief system or spiritual practice in order to really see life differently. This could be as simple as a gratitude journal of like needing to really focus your mind on things that are helpful for you to view to focus on and view life from in order to really shift your perspective in a more positive way. So there's, as we end out the week, a big emotional focus on that. And Friday, there could be something emotionally healing about that that clicks into place for you, especially as we have Aries season beginning, we have Mercury going direct. There's this big kind of clicking into place of a certain energy related to the new beginning where you're headed versus where you have been, and maybe repeating old cycles. It's kind of like they close out at the end of the week. But as we head into Saturday, there could be something about relationships that maybe is directly challenging your ability to emotionally focus on career and or reputation, your image. It feels like there's kind of this emotional pull to that area of your life, but something that's changing within relationships that maybe pulls you away from it for a little bit. And is kind of like a temporary emotional upset. There could also be from that this sense of, okay, I need to change something or evolve something massively as it relates to this, and to be more embodied with what actually feels good for me, what I value, in what you're doing with career and how you're moving forward. And on Sunday there's a big emotional shift related to that, and it's kind of like, again, all this stuff clicking into place of like, okay, here we go, this is how I want to do this and move forward with all of these things. So that's your week ahead, Leo. Let me know how that resonates in the comments. I love, love, love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next week. 。 Hi, Virgo Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your day-to-day work, your routine. There could be some big breakthrough with that that kind of forces you to change a perspective or a belief system of how you want to move forward and really like what you want to do about work and career moving forward. There's a big kind of challenging energy between those two areas of your life, your perspective, how you're viewing the world, and what's going on with work that you maybe want to change or do differently or innovate, right? And so there's kind of this conflict between those two areas that forces you to evolve and step forward in a way that maybe is a little bit uncomfortable. But needed, and you've been feeling it for quite some time, and it's kind of like, okay, here we go. Later on Monday and into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts into your relationships. So there could be a big emotional focus on the people you have around you and maybe related to these changes you want to make. It's like you maybe needing to support yourself, or have people around you that support you in making these changes. And stepping forward fully in this new direction, kind of like cultivating this tight-knit support system that's going to help you with these things and moving fully forward with them. Especially on Tuesday, there could be some sort of emotional drive to take action on something within career, maybe related to just being around more people that are going to support you in your dreams, and what you're changing about your long-term goals and visions moving forward, and having the right people around you that really support that taking action and maybe even inspire you to take action and move forward with these changes. That leads us to the new moon we have in Pisces on Wednesday in your area of relationships. So there could be something coming to light about how you want to move forward within a relationship or connections in general in your life, whether it's romantic or otherwise. There's this focus on setting intentions with having a new beginning with all kinds of relationships in your life moving forward related to these changes and related to these new things that are falling into place in a massive way. There could also be something you get clarity around with money or investments or something like that, and as well as connections that also forces you to evolve what's going on with those two areas of your life. Into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts into your psychological transformation, your area of other people's resources. There could be some sense of needing to maybe be emotional discipline with some sort of cleanup related to an old version of yourself and really seeing yourself differently than you had been before related to all these other areas that are changing. It's kind of like this is foundational change within your identity, within your sense of self. And again, it comes through your very vulnerable, intimate support system. And maybe it's just this needing to be your own kind of cheerleader as well emotionally and like hype yourself up to really step into this new direction. It does feel like though on Friday there's a lot more clarity around that and also a sense of emotional healing that comes maybe really kind of stepping into more fully this new identity related to these changes and releasing the old version of you that just wasn't really serving you to step into what you want and move in the direction you've been feeling and heading towards for quite some time. But it does feel like, again, there's this kind of emotional sense and illumination of clarity, an emotional sense of something clicking in and healing in a massive way. Saturday, there could be something emotionally challenging about what's going on with your belief systems and your perspective of life and work. There could be, again, this kind of forced evolution or growth that needs to happen with how you're viewing life related to what's going on with work and your day-to-day routines, structures, maybe physical health, even and what kind of needs to change about your mindset and how you view all of this stuff that's changing in order to just view it differently and view it in a way that's going to serve you instead of like keep you stuck in the loop of it. And there could be an emotional breakthrough around that on Sunday as we end out the week of like this new perspective really clicking in and the old one really feeling like it doesn't hold weight anymore. So that is your week ahead, Virgo. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments. Love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know in the comments and I'll see you next week. Hi, Libra Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your creative passions, dating, romance. There could be some big emotional challenge with that and what's going on with resources or investments. Maybe also some psychological transformation that you've been in, this deep kind of rebirth that's been taking place, or this focus on needing to shift your relationship with debt or taxes or investments. And there's kind of some pressure from your creative area and or dating romance in order to make these changes and evolve in ways that are going to support you moving forward, to really integrate what has been changing about that area of your life the past 7 years. As we get later into Monday and into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your day to day, your work, your physical health, like whatever's been occurring there for you that's really focus you've been focused on reevaluating a lot, cleaning up a lot in that area of your life, and also at the same time moving forward in a major direction with it. So there could be this sense of emotional clarity on something you've been reevaluating with work or your routine. And also this sense, especially on Tuesday, of like, okay, I need to move forward in this direction. This is what I'm doing. I need to take action on this. Emotionally, there's this drive to do something in a really big way and move forward with it, especially as it relates to what's going on with your work and how that's supporting a change in your career in a massive way. And as we gear up to the new moon in Pisces we have on Wednesday in this area of your chart, there's this big sense of, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm setting intentions towards this new beginning. I'm going to dedicate this amount of time to it or whatever it is. It's getting this kind of structured approach with it that also allows for flow, which sounds counterintuitive, but there's just a lot going on in this area of your life. And there's a sense that it needs to be kind of structured differently or reeled in, to be a little bit more organized instead of like chaotic and all over the place. And that's probably something that's been a big focus of the last few weeks, that you've been reevaluating how you want to do and what you want to do about it. Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your relationship. So there could be a lot of just emotional things that come through other people, maybe clarity, maybe a sense of like, okay, I really need to be committed or disciplined with this as it relates to sharing my emotions with other people, or getting clarity from other people emotionally. It's like there's this sense of needing to kind of have maturity with it and how you go about it. There could also be on Thursday and into Friday something about that really challenges what's expanding for you in work or career. But as we head into Friday, we have Mercury going direct in your area of work, of physical health, of day-to-day routines and structures, as well as Aries season beginning in your area of relationships. So there's a big focus from your kind of day-to-day to relationships and to other people in your life. There's also this sense of mental clarity and forward motion with what's been on the kind of back burner with work, or being reevaluated within work, and how to move forward with all of those things. There could also be on Friday something emotionally healing about relationships that kind of clicks into place for you, and maybe further support some healing or integration of like hyper independence within you, and maybe learning that relationships really support you in a lot of major ways that you're glad to have at this time. Saturday, the emotional focus shifts into your shared resources, also psychological transformation. So there's something about that emotionally that is directly challenging a change that has been going on with you in career, in creativity, your passions, maybe dating and romance as well. There's some sort of emotional evolution that kind of it comes about through a sort of challenging maybe situation with somebody, or kind of feeling like there's this block of creativity, but it's like, so you view it differently in that you evolve what fuels your creative inspiration, kind of sourcing it from within. Instead of looking for it externally. Sunday, as we end out the week, there's a big sense of emotional transformation in this area of your chart, of this area of deep underneath the surface transformation and rebirth. It's like this big emotional change that kind of clicks into place as we end out the week. And there's a lot more momentum moving forward with everything, and feeling like a fog is finally lifted. So that is how we end out your week, Libra. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments. Love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you and your life. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you next week. Hi, Scorpio Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your home and family. There could be something really challenging about your emotional focus in this area of your life that's also directly conflicting with something about relationships that's changing, or how you relate to other people, or even the people that you have around you. There's some sort of emotional tension or challenge between these two areas of your life, home, family, and relationships. But it kind of forces you to evolve what's been going on there for quite some time and just to do something differently. There could maybe be this sense of like, don't distract yourself from what you need to do, what's present, in order to have the changes that you want that have been building. Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your creative passions, dating, romance as well. What you've been reevaluating about this area of your life, there could be this greater sense of emotional clarity around, especially Tuesday and into Wednesday as we gear up for this new moon in Pisces we have in this area of your life on Wednesday. There's some big sense of setting intentions to have a new beginning with this part of your life, creative passions, maybe spirituality, dating, romance, take it as it applies, whatever you've been reevaluating there and focused on for the last few weeks, in this area of your life. Later on Wednesday and into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your kind of day-to-day routine and work and what big major change and beginning you're having there. There's a big emotional sense of clarity that comes of like, okay, I actually really need to focus on this. I actually really need to discipline myself to this, whether it's taking care of your health better or shifting into a new work routine or schedule or job completely altogether. It's like I need to make this happen and move forward with it. And there might be something about that that challenges a belief system within yourself, that challenges a way you've been viewing life. And there's also a big focus on making that change as well to just how you're viewing everything that's happening in your life related to these changes. Friday, Mercury goes direct in your area of creative passions. We begin Aries season in your area of work and day-to-day routine and health. There could be something really massively that clicks in on Friday, later on Friday, maybe even something that feels very emotionally healing for this area of your life and what you've been doing and moving forward with there as well. Some sort of big identity shift as well is likely, as we end out this week. Saturday, the emotional focus moves on into your relationships. So maybe whatever came up earlier in the week, it's like, okay, I get to kind of focus on this now emotionally and process what was going on the 16th on Monday with relationships. And there's kind of this sense of whatever your pull to relationships is on Saturday directly challenges what's changing about your home or family. And so there's this big push and pull between those two areas of your life. And it's kind of like, how do I balance this? How do I move forward? But I do feel like as we get into the end of the week on Sunday, there's this sense of emotional clarity that comes about how you want to move forward in both of these parts of your life. And more of an embodiment of like, okay, this is what I'm doing and here's how I'm doing it kind of energy. So that is your week ahead, Scorpio. Let me know how that resonates in the comments, and I will see you next week. Hi, Sagittarius Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your day to day. There could be a lot that you're just kind of cleaning up about where you go and who you talk to on a daily basis. That could directly challenge emotionally on Monday what's going on with work, what you're changing about your routine, with health as well. There could be something you get this clarity around of like, okay, I really need to evolve, like talking to this person or going to this place because it's affecting my work or it's affecting my health. And you get kind of clarity on what you want to do about that situation situation and what positive change is going to benefit you moving forward. As we head into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your home, your family, childhood stuff. There could be things underneath the surface that are going through a greater energetic cleanup. You could be spending more time at home, just kind of mentally reevaluating things within your home or your relationship to home, to family. There could also be some emotional like breakthroughs that come about in this area of your life, especially as we get closer to the new moon we have in this part of your life on Wednesday. There's a new moon in Pisces in your area of home and family. So there could be this sense of setting intentions to have a new beginning with home or family in some massive way. There could be something as well that you maybe want to take action on as it relates to that Tuesday before the new moon on Wednesday. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your creative passions, dating, romance. There could be this sense of kind of emotionally a fog with what's going on in that part of your life. But also there's a sense at the same time of like, okay, well, I have to be really committed to this and handling it this way because this is how new me handles this. This is how my current identity handles this as opposed to the past version of you, how you would have handled it. So there's a big sense of like kind of getting emotional sobriety related to what's going on with creative passions or what's going on with dating or romance. Then we head into Friday and Mercury goes direct in your area of home. There could be something about that part of your life that you've been reevaluating. You maybe get mental clarity around how to move forward. It feels more forward moving. We begin Aries season in your area of creative passion. So I feel like you're going to be doing a lot more projects creatively that are related to a passion of yours or moving forward with things in dating and kind of approaching it as a different version of yourself moving forward. There could also be something about that that really is emotionally healing for you on Friday. Maybe you get a lot of clarity around as that fog kind of lifts as well. Saturday, the emotional focus shifts onto your day-to-day work, health, routine, but it directly challenges what's going on with your kind of day-to-day errands or who you talk to on a daily basis. It's kind of like how do I navigate these changes to my routine or my schedule or my structure with work or physical health. Again, maybe what came up earlier in the week is getting a bigger reevaluation as we end out the week on how you actually want to move forward. And especially on Sunday, there's some big emotional innovation and change, kind of maybe breakthrough that happens with work or happens with your schedule, routine, and how you take care of yourself, as well as balance what's going on with work and what's been changing there in the last, 7 years. There's this big sense of emotional clarity around it all, and how to move forward. So that is your week ahead, Sagittarius. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments. I'd love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you and your life. So let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Hi, Capricorn Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your money. There could be something really big, kind of falling into place that maybe is challenging what's going on with money and what's going on with creative passions. There could also, though, from that be a breakthrough or a revelation that comes about of like how to evolve those two areas of your life and how to bring them into deeper harmony. Maybe you make money from your creative passions, and there's this sense of like, okay, this is what I need to do more consistently in order to have that be more consistently brought in. There's a big focus emotionally on money related to what is changing about your creative gifts, maybe even with dating or romance as it applies. As we head into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your communication, your mindset, also your errands, where you're going, who you're talking to on a daily basis. There's been a big focus in that area of your life the past few weeks. And so as the emotional focus shifts into this part of your life, there's a big sense of maybe emotional clarity about what you want to change there, what you need to act on as it relates to doing things differently and maybe talking to yourself differently. That could be a really big way this is showing up, is needing to be more consistent about how you speak to yourself. That's more beneficial to you, more supportive for you, more like your own cheerleader as opposed to your own inner critic, and getting a lot more clarity on like being more consistent with that. And the way that it really benefits you in your life moving forward and making it somehow making it a part of your like routine, maybe right when you wake up, like really just loving, talking to yourself very lovingly and encouragingly and supportively. Big theme of the new moon we have in this area of your life on Wednesday in Pisces. There's this sense of needing to set intentions for a new beginning that you have in this area of your life in a really major way, and probably something that has been solidifying and shifting massively over the last several years, even. It feels like it's all kind of finally coming together in ways that you've been feeling, but haven't really seen results for just yet. Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your home and family. There could be something about that you're really organizing or getting more clarity around. There's a big focus on your inner world, maybe childhood stuff or family stuff as well. Friday, we have Mercury going direct in your area of communication. You might be feeling more social as well over the weekend. And we also begin Aries season. So there's kind of this push and pull between your home life and balancing that and what's going on with maybe your like socializing or again communication themes that have been coming up. There's a big sense of needing to spend time around people, but also not overly extend yourself because there's something going on that needs to be focused on within your home as well. And there could be something emotionally Friday that it kind of clicks into place about home or family that heals some wound within yourself that has been a focus. Saturday, the emotional focus moves into your creative passions, your dating, your romance, maybe what came up earlier in the week kind of gets this resolution as we end out the week with creative passions and things because it directly challenges what's changing about money. So there could be just this sense of I need to evolve these two areas of my life in some way to bring them into greater harmony, right? And as we end out the week Sunday, there's a big sense of emotional clarity or breakthroughs with this area of your life, creativity, passions, dating, romance, as well. So that is your week ahead, Capricorn. Let me know how that resonates in the comments. Love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for your life. So let me know in the comments, and I will see you next week. Hi, Aquarius Rising. We start the week off with the emotional focus on you. Although there could be something about your ability to emotionally focus on you that's directly challenging what's been changing about your home or your family life, maybe even over the past 7 years. There's kind of this sense of, okay, what do I need to evolve in order to bring these parts of me in my life into greater harmony? As we get into Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts onto your money and kind of illuminates emotionally what direction you've been headed with that. There might be something you need to further kind of solidify in as it relates to more energetics or really acting from your intuition with what you're doing and moving forward with about money and how you're making it, maybe even what you're doing with it. Just kind of getting a little bit more practical, getting a little bit more yeah, like aware of what's going on. There could be this sense of emotional clarity related to whatever's been reevaluated with money the last several weeks. And as we head into Wednesday and gear up to this new moon we have in Pisces in this area of your life, there's this big solidification of something with money and of needing to really set intentions to have a new beginning in that area of your life. Maybe really is just something you've been doing that's creative or spiritual in nature to bring in money that's more aligned with those things than you have been in the past. And so there's kind of this sense of needing to just have faith and believe in yourself and what you're doing and that you've been led to it for a reason, even if you don't have all the physical proof just yet, like you can feel it and it's energetically there and it's just kind of remember to have faith. Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your communication, your day to day, where you're going, who you're talking to. There could be something that you get more emotional clarity around as it relates to a brand new beginning with this area of your life, something that's massively been shifting there since summer of last year. There's this emotional pull. And as we get into Friday, especially, there's this illumination of this area of your life and of that new beginning you've been having with this it seems like a lot of self communication as well, like more positive self talk, and getting clear on like what are my values, who do I want to spend time around that supports this new me. There could be something really emotionally healing about that on Friday as well that comes up. We also have Mercury going direct in your area of money on Friday too. So it's kind of like it all clicks into place as we get into the weekend. Then on Saturday, the emotional focus shifts into your area of home and family, but it challenges what's changing about you. So there could be something you really have to face, maybe within your, childhood beliefs or trauma, things like that, that really it feels like it challenges an old version of yourself you have to step out of so you can step into the new version of you that has been building. And as we end out the week on Sunday, there's a sense of emotional clarity around that, maybe emotional breakthroughs related to home or family, and what you've been wanting to change with that part of your life. So that's your week, Aquarius. Let me know how that resonates with you in the comments. I'd love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you in your life. So let me know, and I will see you next week. Hi, Pisces Rising. We start your week off with the emotional focus on your subconscious, your inner world, your mental health. And it's directly challenging something within your communication, maybe how you speak to yourself and how that kind of comes out in your deeper way that you talk to others that are really close to you. Maybe there's this sense of needing to really change the way you talk to yourself, and what you tell yourself in your mind, and becoming more aware of that inner roommate, the inner communication that's going on within your head, in order to change something about it. It's going to be more beneficial for you moving forward. And what is solidifying about your life in this new chapter you're headed. Tuesday, the emotional focus shifts into you. There's this sense of emotional renewal. There might be a sense of emotional clarity, with where you're headed in terms of just putting yourself first and stepping into this big new direction with you. So much about you has been changing and shifting in these last few years, and it's all solidifying right now. And it's like really just moving forward as this new version of yourself, really aligned energetically, spiritually, practically, physically. It's like just really, it's all solidifying. Even if it feels like still there's so much, how do I say? There's like a lot of space between you, like where you want to go and where you are. It's like it's really not that far off. It might feel like it, but it's really not. And it's just important you remember that this week, especially as we get into Wednesday and we have a new moon in Pisces, in your area of you. It's like a fresh start and a big opportunity to set intentions towards this new beginning and this new version of yourself and identity that you've been stepping into, it all really solidifying. And over the next 6 months, you're going to see that more and more beginning this week. As we head into Thursday, the emotional focus shifts onto your money. So there could be some emotional clarity you get with money or with resources, with finances, possessions, on maybe what you want to do differently or restructure things, in order to just be a little bit more mindful of where money's coming in, how much, where is it going, what you're doing with it, things like that. There's a big sense of just needing to get kind of yeah, get organized with it so you can move forward in a way that feels more aligned with you. Friday, we have Aries season beginning. We have Mercury retrograde ending. So there could be this sense of a lot of clarity mentally on how you're moving forward and what direction you've been heading. There could also be a sense later on Friday of big emotional healing with money around an old version of yourself or how you used to handle money. And it's like you're no longer that person. You no longer have those same habits or whatever it is moving forward. And there's this big sense of emotional clarity around that. And just feeling kind of more healed with it moving forward. As we head into Saturday, the emotional focus shifts onto your communication, but it directly challenges what's happening in your subconscious, what's majorly changing about your mental health or your inner world. There could be this emotional challenge that happens maybe in your day to day or with communication or somewhere you have to go or someone you have to talk to. That again kind of brings up this maybe deeper wound in your subconscious, and again, it's forcing you to heal and step into this new identity with like on a solid foundation. It could be a resolution of whatever came up earlier in the week as well. It kind of gets a revisitation, and it's like, okay, this is still coming up in this way. I really need to shift what's going on with it, and maybe really stepping into some new version of you related to worthiness and really seeing your value in ways maybe you hadn't before. And as we end out the week on Sunday, there's a sense of emotional breakthroughs or innovations and major change within your communication in your day to day. Also, a really big change in how you talk to yourself. And that's really where all of these other changes really stem from. So I feel like that's just going to be some big breakthrough that really clicks in at the end of the week for you, Pisces. So let me know how that resonates with you in the comments. I'd love to hear from y'all on how accurate these are for you. So let me know in the comments and I will see you next week. Okay, next week. Wow. Aries season, Aries moving over Neptune, Saturn, Mercury finally direct on the North Node. It's really just like, here we go. There still might be this sense of, I don't know, challenges or things we need to kind of slightly adjust in certain ways. I feel like a lot of this is changing communication styles or patterns or belief systems and kind of further doing more work around that collectively. But it really just feels so much better, y'all. The week of the 23rd feels so much better than really any other week of 2026 so far. Even that like little blip in February that we had that was like, here we go. And then, oh, wait, no. Like the last week of March just feels really good. There could be, again, just kind of there's going to be challenges. There's going to be emotional kind of things that feel a little frustrating. As Mercury or as the moon is going to go through Gemini and square everything in Pisces, and then the moon's going to go through Cancer and square everything in Aries. But squares are not bad. Squares create needed evolution and change that if we had stayed in our comfort zone, we wouldn't have changed in ways that we needed or grown in ways that we needed. So it's really not a bad thing. It's just kind of like things might be frustrating so that we pivot in ways that are going to be more helpful, and ultimately better for us moving forward. We're also going to have Venus on Chiron next week, so could be a lot of things healing within relationships and really how, as a collective, we view relationship dynamics. And there's a ringing in my ears, I'm saying that, and how we kind of approach relationships with this healed version of identity, of independence, of sense of self that has been a collective theme for the past 7 years. So I feel like there's going to be a lot of just, yeah, further healing that happens for the collective as we gear up for this massive change that we are all a part of and in right now, this big transition of our society. Things are still in Pisces the last week of March, so things still might feel a little liminal mentally, but there is just so much more moving forward than has been before. So that's next week. I'm really, really excited for it. And as we get into the rest of the year, yeah, let me know how this resonates with you. Let me know what's going on for you based on your chart in the comments, and I'll see you next week. Bye.